Okay, so this is the virtual financial class that I said I was going to give you guys. All right, so this is financial literacy. It's about getting out of debt, building the savings, and some fundamental stock trading. Let's get into it. Why financial literacy matters. Helps you avoid bad debt decisions. Builds long-term financial independence. I know we all want to be independent. Teaches us smart money habits early on and creates opportunity for future wealth. That's the big one right there. All right. So, understanding debt, not to criticize, but debt is borrowed money and it must be repaid 99% of the time. But common things that debt is credit cards, car loans, IOUs, fucking student loans. Hopefully, none of y'all have any of those. Um, but yeah, so high interest debt grows very quickly. So when you buy that 17% car interest, or buy that car with 17% interest, I should say, that debt is going to escalate very, very quickly. You can have a $500 payment a month thinking that you're paying it off. And reality is you're paying $480 towards interest and only $20 for the principal. All right, that's why when you see high interest, that's why it matters, because when it breaks down and you're paying 2% every single month, that's going to be rough. So missing payments obviously damages your credit score. You didn't know that? I'm sorry. All right. So how to get out of debt. So if you have multiple lines of credit or multiple lines of debt, i.e., credit cards, personal loans, car debt, um, what you do, there's two different ways. I'd only listed one way. But yeah, there's two ways to get out of this. So what you're going to do for both things is you're going to make the minimum monthly payments on each of the accounts. So if your minimum is 500, you pay the 500. If your minimum is 25, you pay the 25, right? So you have the list of all of the debts at their interest rates, and then you're going to focus on making payments on the high interest debt first, because like we said before in the previous slide, is that you want to pay those off first because that's how it grows fast. So that is the mathematical way to do it, to pay it off better. But the problem with debt that no one for some reason likes to talk about are your bad habits. When you go out and buy a $5 coffee here, you go buy a case of beer, you go buy whatever, this, that, and the other. Oh, I'm going to go out to Mickey D's instead of just eating the food that you have at the barracks or at home, whatever you're at. Those behavioral habits start to increase. So, the better way to do it is that I found is it's called the snowball effect. I'm stealing this from Dave Ramsey. Is where you line up all the debt, and then you start paying off the one with the smallest balance first. So you have that, like, oh, I can pay this off, and then let's say that debt was $20 a month. Then you're going to grab that $25 and you're going to place that towards the next one, and then it keeps going and going and going. All right, this is the big one. Avoid taking on new debt. Okay, you can't just pay off a $300 debt, and then be like, oh, I'm gonna go reward myself by buying a $3,000 chain. Doesn't work like that. All right. So create a budget and track your spending. Track your spending. That is probably ignorance is honestly the biggest reason why people are in debt. Stop being ignorant towards your own fucking financials. Stop being ignorant towards your fucking financials. Again, stop being fucking ignorant towards your financials. All right. Building savings habits. What I say, habits. Habits are great. All right. So you pay yourself first, i.e., hey, I'm going to put X amount into a savings account. If you can make it automated so you don't have to think about it and it comes out automatically, like your taxes, you don't think about paying those. At least I'm pretty sure none of y'all think about, like, oh, I have to pay my taxes. Or those who have the automatic for the TSP. You don't really think about that coming out of your check. You just look at the net check. So if you have this on a savings or on a just a payment that it goes automatically, do that. So you don't have to think about it. It's automatic. All right. So this is for emergency funds in case of emergency happens, i.e., we travel a lot, right? So something happens to one of our loved ones or something, one of our family members, we have to go back on a Red Cross message. Military's not paying for that. You do. You want to take that emergency leave, they'll give you it, but you have to pay for that. So those kind of things. Or if your hamster gets a cavity, I don't know. You have to pay for those things. But all right. Small amounts grow, okay? I'm not going to make a comment about that. But yeah, they grow, okay? Small amounts over a period of time, it grows, okay? Not that hard. Avoid, like I said, impulse spending. If you think about it, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you can save by avoiding the impulse spending. I'm talking to you. All right, so this is the emergency fund goal, is to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Why is that? Well, let's say we have an argument in the military and they say, hey, you said some things that you shouldn't have. We are now no longer want to associate you with our military, and they kick you out. And then you're like, but I have all these bills I have to pay. Hey, look at that. You have 3 to 6 months worth of savings. Cool. You're good for at least 3 to 6 months. All right. It protects you in case of emergencies. Relying on credit cards. These are all just basic fundamental shit, okay? It's basic, but it's necessary. Budgeting basics. Yeah. So basics of budgeting. All right? This is the meat and potatoes. This is the foundation of how to build wealth. This is like the addition and subtraction of building wealth. Like without this, you have nothing. All right? So income minus expenses equals savings. All right? So you got to track what your wants. Use the 50, 30, 20 rule. This is your needs. This is your wants. This is your debt dumping and savings. All right? That's what you use. So before you start applying the snowball effect or the other payoff method, you want to make sure that you pay yourself. So you put your savings. Make sure you're applying towards savings. All right? And you review your budget monthly because know why? Things fucking change. That's why. And you'll be surprised, like, oh, maybe going out 6 days out of the 7, I could have just gone out one of them or two of them. And you're going to be like, wow, I didn't spend $300 this week on food that I didn't need. Cool. All right. Like I said, the consistency of saving it over time, just having that little small amounts. This is $100. $100 per month. You guys spend that in, I don't even know. There's so much in DoorDash fees alone. I've seen people spend that in a month in just DoorDash fees. This is a tip that you go out every single night this week. This is how much you're spending. A $20 tip 5 days a week. Okay? $100 is not much. You put that into a 5% growth, which is not hard to find. In 10 years, if you do that, $100, that's $15,000. You might be saying, well, $15,000 is not much. Neither is a fucking 100. So you multiply that. Let's say you did 1,000. That would be $150,000. Okay? That's where we're at. Let's go. All right. So now we're getting into the stuff, the candy, the dessert, right? The introductions to stocks and trading, what most y'all are hassling me about. Because this is your get rich quick scheme, which is if you have debt, you shouldn't even really be looking at this, but I'm doing this for the sole purpose of a resource for you to have. And I will push out this PowerPoint to all y'all. Stocks represent ownership in a company. If you didn't know that, you do now. Investing money, cool. Stock prices move based on company performance and news, i.e., hey, we're a government, we have a government contract company, meaning that a lot of our business highly depends on government contracts. Oh no, the government's being shut down. What do you think the stock price is going to do? It's going to go fucking down. Okay? So you wait, you look for these geopolitical events, you try to edge the market in that regard, and then you buy and sell based off that. Investing is typically long term. Unless you have fuck you money, it is not supposed to be for gambling. All right? You're going to want to get into big mutual funds, which is a bunch of companies made into one, like the S&P 500, which the average annual growth rate for the last 30 years is about 10%. Okay? Let's go. And this is all about money that you can put towards and not need. This is almost like the emergency fund, but this is like stuff, and that's why I say it's long term. It's not like, oh, I'm going to place $5,000 in this account, watch it go up to 2,000 in 2 months, and be like, oh, I have 2,000 extra dollars. No, you want to apply that 2,000 towards more stock, so you build this wealth. All right, it's wealth building, not extra money. Well, all right. Important stock market terms. Diversification. If we don't know what that word means by now, this is 2026. We should know what diversification means. All right. Dividends. All right. Companies' profits paid to shareholders. Means they're being extra generous. They said, hey, we made record numbers of profits this year. We're going to help, say thank you to all the people who invested into our company. Here's a dividend. That's what a dividend is. ETF, collection of many stocks. ETF funds, electronically transmitted fund. Okay, the bull market, the price is rising. The bear market, prices are falling. What are I talking about? Geopolitical events? Geopolitical events, depending on which one you're looking at. Hey, SpaceX is going to be coming online for a company that you can purchase. That's going to be a bull market. The stock is going to soar. I'm not giving any hints and stock advice on what to purchase, but yeah, SpaceX, when that becomes public, yeah, Okay, stocks can go up or down. If you don't know this, Google stocks. Any stock will do, and you'll see the day fucking goes up and down. All right, and this is most important. Never invest your money in things you cannot afford to lose. All right, I know I said don't try to gamble with it, but you don't know, right? This company was saying, hey, cool, we're doing very innovating things. Guess what? Find out that the CEO of the company has 3 women in his basement. All of a sudden, everybody's like, we're not supporting that. Stock tanks. You're like, oh, but their technology, guess what? They don't care. The public opinion does not care about your funds and your stock. They care about what they're putting and what they want to look at as far as the public eye. All right? So avoid making emotional decisions because emotional damages will occur. Okay, and we all know how some people here are with emotions. Fucking wild. Research before. Research. Beware of scams and online hype. Very few. All the ones that you're about to think of. Oh, what about the GameStop? What about this? Yeah. Everybody thought that shit was going to $1, right? The Dogecoin. Keep it. What, it hit 76 cents and then tanked? Yeah, that worked out well. Let's go. All right. Smart investing habits, all right? Invest consistently over time. If you haven't been picking up this pattern, It's going to be time will build your wealth, not instant. It's not going to be instant, all right? This is going to be a long term. Focus on the long term. Learn about it before taking big risks. If you don't have the fuck you money, don't spend like you have it, okay? Diversify your investments. This avoids those dips in the market. So you have an accurate accumulation of your assets. Assets can be monetary or non monetary. Like they're going to be more tangible, like a house, car, right? Diversify your investments and your assets. This last point, I'm not even going to say it. Hopefully, you guys can see the screen, but yeah. Key takeaways. All right. Avoid unnecessary debt. Build savings early. Create and follow a budget. Create and follow a budget. Create and follow a budget. Invest for the future. Financial habits start the sooner you start your financial habits, the better off you'll be. The key investing long terms, all right? Long-term investing allows compound growth in your favor, right? I forgot to move this slide, but anyway, yes. There you go. This is somebody who invested $1,000 and didn't place anything else, and in 20 years it was almost 5,000. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, since no one has any questions, this concludes my brief.